Hey, storytelling Ron here. So yesterday, though this video is about yesterday. Sunday is my cheat day, is my church day, and then my carbs and deep dish pizza, frozen deep dish pizza I have left over from a closed store here on Melrose in Hollywood. Very sad, and all that. But I'm trying to, I'm reading, trying to play games, and then do anything that does not work, right? And very dumb stuff. I try to do like really dumb stuff. So I heard about Castlevania being some sort of interesting sort of adventure or party group thing. Maybe give me some influence or, actually related to work. But pretend entertainment, pretend day of rest from my work. So I want to go over Castlevania and how horrific and pathetic. I'm like, you just can't get away from the atheist slander and lies and deceptions and patheticness of this thing. And I didn't know nothing about the show, barely, and or anything about the creator of it. And I'm going to get into that a bit. And I'm just like, what the? And the whole classic story of Dracula is a Christian ethos, a Christian myth, a Christian legend. I mean, not vampires, Dracula. Vampires are certainly global or whatever. And it's funny, I like how they, vampires aren't affected by crosses. I like that because I actually like that when they say that they're not affected, because that means that's right. So if you go up against the vampire who's not affected by crosses, that's right. They don't give a shit. I'm kind of going to probably be swearing because I'm just kind of pissed off. And I get a little sailory when I get, my old anger style. But I love that concept because the vampires that get affected by the cross, like Dracula, they had a moral compass before they became a vampire, right? Whereas pagan vampires don't give a they just will kill. There's no symbol that gives them a sense of guilt or shame, or that they know the truth. But the Dracula and Christian vampires that are affected by the cross, they're affected by the truth. Whereas pagan vampires don't even care. They'll run right through you and kill you and slaughter you, whatever, and all that. So I want to go through this. It's a bit dark, but I'm just like, dang. Let me make myself a little smaller here. So this is I don't know how to capture video or do the whole, or I'm too lazy. But anyway, I found this guy. I was trying to find like a review or overview of Castlevania, and this guy did it. So I really appreciate this guy. I hope I'm okay. I'm not gonna play the video. I'm just gonna show images from it. But it was a really good video treatise of the whole show. But boy, the goodness that he talks about at the end of this 4-season series, I am not going to waste my time going through this, but I mean, it was intriguing, but no. So the beginning is horrible, just horrible. She comes into the Dracula's castle. She's like, I'm a woman of science. They think I'm a witch, but I'm a woman of science. And he's like, oh, I'm all science, even though I'm evil and eat people and all that. Then what happens, let me see if I can find the image, is that the church, next scene, the church burns her as a witch. The church. All signs of crosses, they hate her. She's a witch. And the way they do the dialogue is so smarmy and pathetic and anti-Christian. And I'm going to get into this about the church and science. But I'm like, what? And she's all of science and she wants to learn. And of course now because they show Dracula, and he has like this whole castle full of scientific stuff in it. When they have this wonderful dialogue, and they basically become friends and then lovers, I guess. And he becomes a peaceful, murderous, blood-sucking, evil, demonic thing. And because they burned her at the stake, he now becomes the villain of the show and starts slaughtering. Okay, so let me show you. These quick images of them, and I was like, what? There's I really want to just show this quick. Where the freak is it? Sorry, I'm gonna pause this and find it because it was just, you know what I mean. Sorry, gruesome stuff here, but anyway, there's a scene when he takes his revenge on the church and the town. He had these demons running around the whole town, blood slaughtering them, and even showing the depiction of slaughtering of a young girl and a boy. Just horrific stuff. Like this is so supposed to. I understand that maybe he's trying to set up a villain, but he's trying to blame the Christians and that they deserve this horrible slaughtering of the people, and it shows them, and it shows like even a baby being devoured and taken. So that's how disgusting and moral depravity this show was. I was like, what the heck? It shows just this guy just exacting vengeance on everybody, and getting what he wants and killing and stuff. And then there's all these, but I understand that you got to set up the premise of a villain. But for them to say that the church is to blame because they burned this woman at the stake because she was a scientist, and that he was a man of science, it's so pathetic. It's just so pathetic. And there are scenes in there. There's a scene in here, I don't think they have it on this thing, but where the good guy goes into the town and tries to find some seekers or helpers who are supposed to be helping against the Dracula, and they're not Christian. And this like clergy finds the guy and is gonna like kill him, and the good guy comes and kills them. Or he doesn't kill him. He tortures them and makes them fools of the church of clergy, and it makes the clergy look like they're evil. They're like, hey, we're gonna kill you because we're the part of the church. Like these, like what? The amount of patheticness that the atheists can do this. They can absolutely lie. They can absolutely lie and bear false witness, right? They don't believe in that commandment. God has the commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness. It's not thou shalt not lie. It's thou shalt not bear false witness. And what this writer of the show is doing is bearing false witness. He's slandering Christians on purpose. Why? Because he has no other choice. That's the way God made him. I'm a freaking Calvinist. This guy's evil. He thinks he's got free will. He doesn't. He doesn't have free will. He's doing exactly what he was programmed to do. Hate God and condemning himself. God is almost like, prove to me Calvinism isn't real. Prove to me I didn't make you. Prove to me. Go ahead. Good luck. This guy is doing exactly what evil will do. He's slandering the church and Christian history through this story, hoping it'll affect everyone. And here's why he's doing it too. Because I was like, what the heck with this show? And I got so many different avenues I want to go down. But at the end, this guy makes the guy that made the video makes an interesting thing where, anyway, all these good guys sort of learn. No, this death thing, whatever. All these good guys learn to whatever. This is stupid. Learn that the future is about building a society. I'm going to get to this in a minute. Let me get to this guy. So this guy, Warren Ellis. I was like, who is this guy? I was like, man, this guy's famous. He's written all this stuff. He's so amazing. I was like, dang. And he's such a atheist, humanitarian. Of course, he's a humanist. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, you know what? He's got the world. I'm just gonna have my little corner here with my Jesus. That's all I got. Then I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, what's this? All right, I know I'm enjoying it a little too much, but sexual coercion allegations. Now, I should not be laughing at this, but I just was like, of course, duh. So there's this. So he's basically right now, I don't know. He's trying to get back into work, of course. He's part of the Me Too, whatever. But this is the site, and I'm like, what is this? Okay, we are a collective of people who have been targeted and manipulated by Warren Ellis sexually. By the way, I was like, yeah, okay, wow. And this was happening during the whole Castlevania. So if for all of you that love Castlevania and how the church is so evil and how the church is manipulative and killing people and stuff like that, well, sorry, getting a phone call right in the middle, and of course I'm not going to edit this. Okay, so it turns out we are a group of 60 women and non-binary individuals. I don't know what that means. Whose utmost concern is the safety and... Okay, so I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I do want to go down to the list. And look at this. Depression, complex PTSD, involuntary conditioned response. Okay. So what Warren Ellis does, and this is in the comic book industry, frequently asks his online audience, this is based on what these people are saying, these women, frequently ask online audience via newsletters, forum, and social posts to send him messages. Then he filters for femme presenting people with photos frequently matching his apparent preferred aesthetic. Seeks private interactions with chosen targets. So these are all people dictating what he's been doing, who are often beginning of their careers, experiencing financial or personal difficulties, or otherwise isolated. So that's what he's looking. That's what they found out based on all of them talking to each other. He's seeking private interactions with isolated young women that are looking for work. Tests the waters and pushes boundaries for receptiveness to sexual advances. Consistently emphasizes discretion. Talk about a villain. Makes the target feel unique with constant compliments, interest, and systematic, frequent contact and other habit-forming techniques typical of operant conditioning. I think, we're all sinners, and I would like to say that for me, I think the main reason that I'm being a little silly here, but the main reason I think I am not like this guy is because I'm just lazy. I think this guy is such a hard worker in his writing and accomplishments, that he's a hard worker in his villainy, in his evil. I mean, this is like so much work. Makes target feel unique with constant compliments. I cannot do that. Like, I don't know. I just cannot compliment someone, a woman, to get what I want out of, manipulate her. I just don't have the desire or energy or whatever, evil. I don't know what it is, but no, thank you. I mean, wow. I can't even be on the phone that long. Like, I'm just talking in simplistic terms right now. Uses self-deprecating statements. Wow. Both privately and publicly to elicit compliments and endear himself. This is Warren Ellis, or what these women, 60 plus women and whatever, are saying that he has been doing to them and his behavior. Creates the illusion of safety and friendship, often positions himself as a mentor and guide. Insinuates he can help advance careers, sometimes follows through, thus obliging his target to continual sexual relations with him. Being dropped could mean major career consequences. Wow. I'm going to go ahead and stay poor and sad and alone. Well, I'm married and got kids and a home and whatever. But I mean, I don't want this. I don't want any part of this. I do not want success if this is what it is. I don't want it. Jesus, do not give me this. I don't want it. Wow. Often lies about his personal relationship status. Repetitiously remarks on a feature of his target as hypnotic or causing weakness, addiction, and obsession with him. Oh, repetitiously remarks on a feature of his target as hypnotic. Wow. Your eyes are so hypnotic, I guess. Wow. I can't do that. I cannot do that. Like, causing weakness, addiction, and obsession within him. That's so demonic. And by the way, evil is more appealing than not. Like, it's not a pit fiend demon. It's this. It's hypnotic. Wow. I don't even think that way. Do you guys think that way? I don't even think like that. What the hell? Hell. Positions himself as submissive. Ugh. This guy. Positions himself as submissive. Yeah. Which has a disarming effect and purposely creates the illusion of the interaction's onus being on the target as he is helpless against them. I think oh my gosh, I would not want to even read about a villain like this, like that. But totally would. This would be one of those cringe horror comedy films that is just so cringe. Okay, I don't even want. Directs targets into producing custom pornography for him, ranging in type and content from mild to extreme. It's so creepy too that they got to masturbate. They're just addicted to masturbation, even though billionaires, multimillionaires, successful, they're still addicted to masturbating, porn and masturbating. So pathetic. With all this, whatever they got. I've done 10 films and 20 comic books and 5, I'm going to go masturbate right now. I need a masturbation break. See you later. But send me some porn of you. What the hell? This is so, sorry, this is really adult. I mean, I didn't read the first couple, I didn't get down here until now. Okay. Attempts to control I don't want to go anymore. Attempts to control other relationships in target's life, both romantic and aromantic, insisting he be the only man in their life. Distances his targets from other women with tactics such as triangulation. I don't even know what that means. I mean, I knew, but in multiple cases, engages in sexual video and audio exchanges. Okay, so they put this all out here. This is... Ugh. Ugh. So this guy wrote this story about how these people, the church, burning a witch, how they're evil. I'm just going through this guy's edit. So the church, this guy, Warren Ellis, is saying that the church is evil. So who do you gonna, to all you people out there who nod along with how the church is evil, that's who's telling you the church is evil. Warren Ellis, or whoever this guy is. I don't know. I'm just going off of what this is, and this page is still out there, and they have updates, and okay. We saw valuable progress in all three of our intentions, but to the best of our knowledge, Warren Ellis took none of these steps we hoped he would. A mediated accountability process with Warren Ellis is not possible at present, and we do not anticipate our involvement in any progress he might make in the future. So he doesn't see, he's just kind of being quiet and seeing they'll go away, and maybe he'll have a bunch of minions come out and say, hey, the Me Too movement's over, so we gotta let evil control things again. What they feel good about is that they have, while it is undeniably disappointing that after nearly 3 years of our conscientious labor, and this is people risking themselves, and it's just really sad. I wish these people the best, and I hope that they, I don't know, it's really hard, but like start your own business and try to go around this and support each other, But there's no church in the comic book industry. There's no church. There's no inquisitors. There's no chivalry. And remember, chivalry requires Jesus Christ. If you want to have chivalry without Jesus Christ, no, not going to happen. You're going to get Warren Ellis. If you want Warren Ellis, remove the church. If you want the attempt at honest men, bring the church back in. Bring the church back into your culture. So it's very sad, very sad. Many of us were able to begin our own healing processes as a direct result of compiling, discussing our experiences, and of other intensive work we did amongst ourselves. These achievements present progress for all three of our original intentions. We are reasonably confident that we have stopped Warren Ellis from continuing his harmful patterns on a large scale. Our website and process are now used as blueprints for other groups coming forward. So, well, let's hope that's happening. I want to real quick here list. This is to back to the Christian thing. Science. The fathers of science. Okay, Galileo. Galileo was Catholic or part of the church. He was an asshole, but he certainly was, and his books were inconsistent. That's what was the problem. He was insulting the Pope. Not his findings were inconsistent, and he was insulting the Pope he was mocking the Pope in his writings to then relate his inconsistent findings that he did. And when he was confined to his garden villa, he then actually wrote some really good stuff because I think he got contrite. Some good science stuff. But yeah, and of course they make it sound like he was imprisoned and tortured and blah blah blah. That's not the case at all. He was arrested because of his mockery of the Pope in his findings, and it was the church that sponsored and supported his work, to do the work. If you go down this list, it's replete with Christians and pastors. Like Louis Pasteur was a hardcore Christian. One here, let me see. One here is hilarious. Where did I see one? One here, I've got some of these are theologians, theologian and botanist, right here. I even found, what is this guy? I forgot. Oh, this guy, where did it go? I went to the bottom of this one, I think. Oh boy. Anyway, very Christian guy. I just went through a bunch of these are all Christians, hardcore Christians, Friar, these are all on this list of this is replete with Christians, and also it's white men, you notice. And I know that they put in a couple of token others, but this is why aren't there like a ton of Asians, a ton of Indians who are more populous anyway, a ton of South Americans in here or whatever? It's because it was it was in Christendom that this all happened. It was in the universities and churches of Europe that the vast majority of this was exploding. Now, the whole evolution part of it is a bunch of crock, and that's where the atheists try to get their way in, with that BS. Because you think about it, evolution is not science. You cannot test 1 million years. That cannot be part of any test. The scientific method requires testing. If you're going to put in 1 million years, or 50 million years, or 100 million years, no one can prove that. How do you prove a test? How do you verify a finding if you say, yeah, you need 1 million years? I don't care where in that factor, but you need at least 1 million years to that is all hyperbole, BS, religion, belief, guesswork. It is not a scientific method. And the evolution theory, there is no evolution theory. They call it a theory, but there's no evolution theory because it's all over the place. Things evolve slowly. Things evolve punctuatedly, quickly. Things don't evolve at all. They have a stasis. You can't have that. Same with climate change. You can't have global warming, global cooling. Everything is climate change. You can't test that. It has to be specific. So that's why I'm annoyed by this. Atheists have come in and they have put the guilt of this stupidity into science, using it as a science cudgel against Christians. And they've been doing it for 150 years. And only recently has creation science exploded to respond to the BS of evolution. And many Christians throughout these 150 years have been fooled by evolution and have been guilt-ridden because of the BS of it saying that the Bible is untrue. And that really pisses me off. I'm really pissed off about that. I get pissed off, as you can see. So there's that. So here's the final thing I want to say about this here. So in the end here, he talks about the heroes and the villains, and how one of the villains actually sort of changes for good. This guy, where is he? She's evil and ends up evil, and then this is they're rebuilding, and death is the final whatever. But these guys, why are we constantly fighting the vampires, and is that it for us? And then here's another scene of them rebuilding the future, that they realize that the goodness is in rebuilding and start. Oh, this guy here, he was an evil vampire, and then he decides to become good and help the good. So what is it that they're doing? They're rebuilding society. They're fighting the evil, and then they're proactively rebuilding society. Well, who did that? Who did that in medieval history and in the fantastical history of humanity? Who did that? The church. The church went around planting churches, evangelizing the people, and building a future. The church built the universities, the hospitals, the orphans, that they showed doing this right here. The church went around, this Castlevania is saying the atheists went around. No, the atheists did not go around building things. Atheists are pagans. Same thing. Because a pagan and an atheist, I decide what to do to save myself. I give offerings to this thing. I'm a good person. That's what atheists say. I'm a good person, and if there is a God, I'm going to tell him I'm a good person because I'm a good person. That's same thing as paganism. Paganism is I deserve this, I get this, I want to do that. So they did not build a future. They were the default before Christianity, right? Pagans, atheists. Even there was even atheists in the Greek mythology, or Greek history, Greek classical history. They were atheists all over the freaking place, and they were pagans all over the place, and they had slavery. I mean, watch the Rome series. You can get a really good. I got to do a video on that. It was great. You got to do a primer on paganism. Watch the series Rome on Max Plus. I mean, it was made years ago, but that shows you really good paganism. I love it because of the depiction of paganism is awesome. Slavery, vengeance is the norm, killing, manipulation, back and forth, a tyranny, and remember, like I always say in my videos, democracy in the republic comes from the Bible. They say it comes from Greece, but remember who was replete throughout the population of Greece during that time? Jews. And because they created the Septuagint, which is a Greek Bible, the Old Testament translation, which is like almost heretical in a sense, but they did it because there were so many Jews that only knew Greek. And so they had to do that, and I'm not saying it's heretical. I'm saying it would seem like that would, because they, Hebrew, it was that much more, that important to them to literally, is this heresy that we're going from Hebrew to Greek? But it was so important to them to get the Old Testament out, to the Torah out to the Jews in Greece, and there were so many Jews there that they had to do it. Ergo, the Greeks learned of the Republic described in the story of Exodus with Moses and his stepfather. A Republic is described in there. And the Greeks didn't become democratic until around 500 BC, something like that. And the Jews were there like 700 BC or something. So the church is what built up this whole story they're showing here of these people, getting peace by realizing that they had to be proactive. I know this whole finale thing, but they had to be proactive and help the people build up a future. And that's exactly what the church was doing. And they show the scene where the good guy here, kind of convinces a demon to try a piece of fruit. And this is like he was a human once, and now he's evil and just destructive. And like in this sort of, based on this guy's video, he's showing that the demons don't have to always be demonic. They could like eat some fruit and be good and help. And he makes the demons rebuild the city. Whatever. I don't know the full story in that, but I just, whatever's on here. So what he's doing, what Warren Ellis is doing, is stealing from Christianity, stealing everything that Christians did. We built science, we built hospitals, we built universities, we built Christendom, the civilization of the West. We built all this stuff, and now the atheists are parasites, and they're and the pagans, and they're like, oh man, this works. This charity thing works. This goodness works. We're gonna steal it and get rid of the Jesus part, and steal it, and then blame evil upon them, on the Christians. I always say that about the party switch. The Democrats did the party switch. My response to that is, they say that, in the 60s, whatever, they switched, so now they're really, they were really the old Republicans who fought in the Civil War and freed the slaves and all that. They're saying, yeah, we switched parties, so now the Republicans are the evil Democrats. So your response and my response is, when everyone says, oh, there's a party switch back in the day, so really, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, the response is, would evil ever apologize for evil? Would evil ever apologize for evil? Or would they blame Republicans? Would they slander good and then pretend they are good? Would evil actually apologize for its evil and admit it? Or would it blame good and take credit for good? What do you think? Just in a philosophical, pure sense of evil. Would it actually apologize and admit it did wrong? Or would it look for a way to blame good and then take credit for good? So that's what this Castlevania show is doing. That's what atheists do all the time. They're constantly blaming Christianity, goodness, for their evil, and then pretending that they're now the new church or new Christians, and that their science and their goodness is going to be the answer. As he is often lies about his personal relationship status, or repetitiously remarks on the feature of his target as hypnotic or causing weakness, addiction, obsession within him, directs targets into producing custom pornography for him, ranging in type and content from mild to extreme. As the Warren Ellises of today, the atheists and humanists of today are doing this, they're going to blame the church for their evil, or for, and get kids to watch it because it's so violent and gory, but yeah, it's definitely, it's animated, so they want kids to watch it and get them to hate the church, hate the true church. Now, I'm not talking about today's pope, but the history of the Catholic Church, the Orthodox, and the Protestant Church is one of, problems, but the one, it's a force for good in the world. The church built what we have today as far as freedom, the concept of freedom of speech, the concept of separation of church and state, which I do and don't like, but what I like is that separation of powers. The separation of powers is a really good thing. The problem today is that the atheists just use it to get rid of church so that they can then, the state runs everything. And we've conceded that too much. We've conceded. This is my point. We've conceded in every aspect of of society so that we could get along. We have to stop doing that because it's turning into this lie thing and this Warren Ellis power trip thing that he's on, manipulating young women in the comic book industry. That's so. Imagine being a young woman, and I have 2 daughters. Being a young woman and being manipulated like that is brutal. It's spiritually, mentally, physically brutal. For a young lady to be victimized like that is brutal. I've seen it, experienced it firsthand. How demoralizing it is and emotional. So yeah. Okay. So my answer then, or my final here is, you as a Christian got to be out and proud about it. You got to be defiant and allow the chips fall where they may. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose your role-playing game groups. You're going to lose everything, and you got to build up again. We need to build Christian role-playing game communities that draw in the kids and teach them about evangelism and church planning again. We need to be a culture of evangelism and church planning, where we are not afraid to rebuke evil. In the game, you rebuke paganism. You rebuke the decision making that goes on in the town and the villagers and what they're doing. You rebuke them and set them straight and get a church planted. So that's kind of the scope of the game, and it's fun. It's I got all the elements of regular role playing games in it and adventure and stuff. But anyway, that's the answer. We got to become a church culture again, and the way to do that is stop conceding the culture to Warren Ellis and I mean, what else can I say? I'm gonna keep saying stuff, but that's enough for this video. How exhausting is that to do what he does? I don't even have that kind of energy. I don't have that kind of. It's incredible. I mean, to sit here in young ladies, like, I'm gonna I'm gonna hunt you. I'm gonna destroy you. Okay, in the game of life, we gotta roll holy dice. In the game of life, we gotta roll holy dice.